What's good, fellow outcasts and other rejects? Welcome to WTC, the Anime Outcast. First off, if you're new here, we upload anime what-ifs based around My Hero and other shows alike. Secondly, did you know 80% of our audience isn't subscribed? So in order for us to continue to make good content, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. We had just closed off the sports festival with a more diverse lineup. Bakugo takes the top spot, but just behind him would be Izuku, who's then followed by Tokoyami. We didn't touch upon the closing ceremony as there wasn't much to talk about, as the only difference would be Bakugo being more happy about being first. We pick up with Deku on his daily commute to school. Once near the UA campus, he's greeted by a frantic Ida. He quickly pushes his peer to pick up the pace as the school day draws close. There's an unspoken tension between the two due to a recent event involving his brother. Tensei Ida, otherwise known as Ingenium, had just been a target of abuse by the hero killer. "Hey, I heard what happened to your brother. I'm sorry," Izuku mutters as they enter the central UA building, ringing his umbrella as well. But his condolences are brushed off by Ida. "There is no need to apologize, Midoriya. I doubt the hero killer is one of your transformations." The speedster painfully jokes, using it to hide his true feelings. Even with that, Izuku could feel the unease oozing from him, but lacked the conviction to do anything. So with that awkward chat out of the way, the two make their way to the classroom. While walking, Izuku tries to lighten the mood by talking about their local celebrity status they've all gained from the festival, talking about a funny encounter he had on a train. A few average salarymen came up to him and asked if he could transform for them, but refused on the grounds that it would be weird in public. "The fame certainly is appealing, but I'm more interested in the doors this will open for us. Actually, that reminds me. Aren't we going over the interns in class today?" Ida exclaims, with his usual rational thought process, something he won't use later on, but I digress. This gets an energetic nod from Izuku, excited for what it could entail. Moving to said class, most of it goes the same until the internship offers are revealed. Aizawa explains a hero agency basics and what they look for in students during their later years. It's like he's given his speech too many times to count. Then, he gets to the longly anticipated list of offers. Izuku is ecstatic to see his name among the top 3. He gets just between Bakugo and Todoroki, with a nice 3,712. But this confuses a majority of the class as Todoroki came in tied to third place as Tokoyami, but copped at the most offers. While other years' offers have been a lot more spread out, most eyes are locked on to the ones with the most potential, regardless of where they place in the festival. The sleep-deprived teacher explains to ease his students, which only serves to make Bakugo more irritated. From here, we go to the students' code-naming session with Midnight. As she gets to them to pass whiteboards amongst each other, Izuku stares at his slate with a worried expression. Though he's felt like he's reclaimed the name Deku, it doesn't feel right to him as a hero name. It lacks something to connect it to his current power set and goals. So when it comes to unveiling their names, Izuku follows some of his classmates by using his first name, but he makes sure to clarify it's only a placeholder until he finds the right one. After that, the students would be given only 2 days to decide on internship offers, not giving them much breathing room. Izuku takes a page out of his teacher's book and pulls an all-nighter to help him form a choice. As he painstakingly researches each offer and its potential, one inquiry catches him off guard. It's from an agency just plainly called Jeanist, and the request was explicitly made by its owner, Best Jeanist. This causes Izuku to freak out as the number 4 hero had just asked for him as an intern. With that information in mind, he puts down the Genius Agency as his first choice without a second thought. When it comes time for the heroes in training to depart for their agencies, they would be brought to the station by Aizawa. Most of this part goes to the same till Izuku's chat with Ida before he goes his way. "Hey Ida, if you ever need anything, I'm here for you. You've got my number, right?" Deku explains as a fellow student heads to catch his train. It takes a second for Ida to turn around and answer, as if he's choosing his words carefully. "Of course, Midoriya. You're a brilliant friend, but I do need you to understand I'm fine," he utters while putting on a fake smile, something Izuku knows too well. He would have to put on a similar one when talking about being a hero before he obtained the watch. From behind, the two An observant Todoroki catches on to this as well, seeing himself within Ida. But he's a character we'll talk more about later, as he's taking a different route currently, with his friends locking away his true feelings again. Deku is forced to move past the topic and wish his friend the best before going out his own way. As the changeling makes his way into the tram, he surprisingly bumps into Bakugo. "Oh, hey Kachan, what stop are you getting off at?" He innocently questions his friend, getting a rather harsh response from the other boy. "Ah, for the love of... I'm really starting to think you're a leech, following me everywhere!" Bakugo groans, fed up with his childhood rivalries and involvement in everything. He then begrudgingly answers the question, saying the end of the line. This gets a weird look from Izuku, as that's his stop too. It's here the two realize they both got offers from the number 4 hero. The train ride at this point doesn't have much to cover, except for some awkward and one-sided talk between the two. Once they reach the end of the train's route, they both greeted by their new teacher. "Ah, so the prodigal sons emerge," Best Jeanist proudly announces as the two young heroes depart the tram. Izuku excitedly runs up and starts fanboying over being in the mere presence of such a hero. Surprisingly, Jeanist takes this well and gives the boy a welcoming handshake. Then, as Bakugo steps up, he gets given a less hospitable greeting, receiving a dirty glare. Not wasting any more time on formalities, Best Jeanist urges the two to get a move on to his agency, as they have a lot of work to get done. Once there, both boys don their hero costumes and meet their mentor in his open office. On a quick side note, Izuku is still using his homemade costume as it's actually in decent condition. Sure, it got a little wet during the USJ, but it couldn't be damaged while he's transformed. Just like in canon, Bakugo gets grilled for his rash and vulgar nature by Jeanist. This leads him to be whisked away by the hero's sidekick for an impromptu makeover. Then, the hero sets his sights on his problems with Midoriya. "I'm gonna be frank with you. Your lack of creativity and greater ambition disgusts me," Best Jeanist reveals to a baffled Izuku. Disgusted?" he mutters back, failing to take in what he meant. A bit frustrated by Izuku's lack of understanding, Jeanist then elaborates. "You're in a situation no other hero is fortunate to be in, not even the symbol of peace himself. A hero's image is directly tied to his or her power, and you have one of the most versatile power sets out there." That's when it hits Deku and the lack of creativity he is on about. He's referring to how he used his forms during the sports festival and how he only uses the most cutthroat hero for the task at hand. Izuku tries to defend himself, saying he only did that to show off to the cameras, but Jeanist doesn't take that as an excuse. "Tell me, boy, what type of hero do you imagine yourself being once you leave UA?" he then questions, prying on a topic Izuku has been contemplating ever since he first transformed with the watch. "Ever since I was a kid, I always dreamt of being a rescue hero. All Might inspired that goal, but now I'm not sure if that's the right path for me. I've only been able to use my quirk efficiently for around a year now, and ever since then, I've been changing in other ways than physical," the Omnitrix wielder long-windedly explains, spiraling into one of his trademark muttering fits as he goes more in depth on his thinking. But Best Jeanist cuts across him, presenting his own idea. "Though I did say you have something not even All Might has, you two do share one thing in common, actually. You basically said it yourself. The power to inspire," he exclaims, matching Izuku's own tangent with another speech. "Imagine what a young kid would think if he saw you in one of your weaker or stranger forms during incredible feats of heroics. There's value in all your forms, Midoriya. Why be only a rescue hero when you could be any hero? An every or omni-hero, if you will." This widens the trainee's perspective as a new connection is forged within him, finally getting a grip on who he wants to be. Then, Izuku takes a second to reflect on his teacher's words. They were priceless. Though he couldn't see it, Jeanist smiles under his denim collar, happy about how fast the student took on board his idea, unlike his rage-filled classmate. Moving over to said person, Bakugo emerges from a back room, now sporting a rather pompous haircut. While shaken violently from humiliation, he glares at Deku. "Anything and you'll be going home in a box!" He then threatens the green-haired boy as Jeanist goes to inspect the cut. The rest of the day isn't too eventful, except for a few small things. Izuku and Best Jeanist would start discussing a new hero costume for the boy. In his own words, it just wasn't up to the standards. Also, the denim-clad hero learns that Bakugo's hair wasn't going to stay down with ease. Moving onwards, the next day, and a rather uplifting scene, Best Jeanist would be taking his fresh interns on a standard patrol while they're approached by a couple of kids. At first, they just start mocking Bakugo for his hair and jeans, prodding the bull in a sense. But then, Izuku sees something. A shy kid in the back of the group. He appears to have some sort of armadillo-type quirk, which gives him an idea. Looking back at his mentor, Deku signals to the watch, and then the kid. It takes a second for Jeanist to catch on, but he quickly nods as he realizes it. So then, the changeling cracks his knuckles and starts dialing up a hero. Then, he's engulfed by one of his trademark flashes with wrecking bolts taking its place. He's a hulking stature and makes him small talk, asking for his name and things like that. This brings the boy out of his shell, seeing Izuku transform into something just like him. But we're going to leave our protagonist there as we move to a less festive scene. We move over to the League of Villains bar as its second-in-command has an impromptu meeting with the hero killer.
My proposition is simple. I ask for you to snuff out a certain snot-nosed brat for me. You'll need some specialized gear, but I'm sure my master will be more than willing to... My proposition is simple. All I ask is for you to snuff out a certain snot-nosed brat for me. You'll need some specialized gear, but I'm sure my master will be more than willing to provide it.
Shigaraki barters as Stain uninterested and dances the throwing knife between his fingers. As the former vigilante goes to answer, a small humanoid robot cuts him off from the other side of the bar.
Bounty hunters, nor their compensation, were agreed upon during talks. Shall I contact my lord and notify him of the change of the arrangement?
It announces, causing Stain's eyes to narrow and become jaded.
Bounty hunter. You think I'd stoop so low as to hero scum who walk the path of heroics for money?
The Crimson Killer then bellows, plunging his knife into the table and preparing a deadlier blade. The standoff then occurs between all the bar-goers, with Shigaraki cursing the droid for its lack of awareness. Thanks again to the Outcasts and Rejects for watching until the end of the video. If this video gets 80 likes in 2 weeks, we'll continue this series. Other than that, if you have any questions about the series or channel, sound off in the comments or feel free to join our Discord.